This is KVUE News Daybreak.
All eyes will be on former FBI Director James Comey today. What's being billed as a political Super Bowl? What we can expect today from him on Capitol Hill.
And a local man spent more than a year overseas serving our country, but why he was welcomed home with a $26,000 bill.
And a bug found in California, now here in the Lone Star State. What you need to do to protect your plants. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us for Daybreak at 6 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Let's take a look at our forecast, see what we're dealing with today. Storm team meteorologist Erica Lopez is standing by. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Well, a little bit more humid and a little bit more warm outside as you head out the door this morning. Here's a look at your current temperatures for the Hill Country. Lower 60s and upper 60s, close to 70 degrees for some. Currently at Burnett and Buchanan Dam, you are in the 70s. Lots of 70s for our central counties, Austin at 74, and the eastern counties also well into the 70s, a few upper 60s out there. But you're really going to feel the humidity this morning. We're in the mid to upper 60s, so it's starting to feel closer to the oppressive side. That's going to be the case for the next several days. An area of high pressure is going to increase humidity levels and also bring in just a small chance of an isolated shower this afternoon. I don't think much of you will see that rain at all, but just a heads up, a couple of drops possibly in your afternoon forecast. And Avita is keeping an eye on the roads for us this morning. How are things shaping up out there, Anavita?
Well, pretty good for the most part. This is a live look at I-35 at 51st Street. You can see the roads are getting a lot busier, a lot heavier. So as you hit the roads this morning, just make sure you use caution and drive safely. Now, no major incidents or crashes to report at this hour, but just keep an eye out for some debris on the road if you're traveling in Hudson Bend towards the city. This is on Pool Canyon Road, so just watch out for that. Nothing major, but something to look out for. I-35 northbound Buda to downtown, 14 minutes, 17 minutes Round Rock to downtown on I-35 southbound. Yvonne, Brian, back to you.
Annaby, thank you. A live look at our nation's capital this Thursday morning. All eyes again on Washington, D.C. today. Fired FBI Director James Comey will answer questions about his interactions with the president. It's being called a political Super Bowl.
And this is his first time that Comey is speaking in public since being fired. In preparation, he released 7 pages of his conversations with President Trump yesterday.
ABC's Lana Zach breaks down what we can expect to hear in today's testimony.
In 7 pages of detailed accounting, James Comey outlines the loyalty pledge he felt President Trump was demanding from the independent director of the FBI, writing, "The president said, I need loyalty. I expect loyalty. I didn't move, speak, or change my facial expression in any way during the awkward silence that followed. We simply looked at each other in silence." The two men alone for a private dinner at the White House. The president tried again after the meal. He then said, "I need loyalty." I replied, "You will always get honesty from me." He paused and then said, "That's what I want, honest loyalty." I paused and then said, "You will get that from me." Critics of the president pouncing.
He confirmed right out of the box this question of the president asking for loyalty. He made it clear that the president was inquiring about Flynn. That alone really almost rises to a Watergate-like level of interference.
As the Senate gets ready to question Comey in public, the prepared testimony is already being lobbed as a political football, combed over for insight into whether Comey was fired for resisting the influence of the Oval Office over what should be an independent FBI. President Trump's personal attorney claimed victory, saying the president feels completely and totally vindicated by Comey's testimony, that he did assure the president 3 times that he was not personally under investigation.
There is another big question here in the Senate. Will the president live tweet during Comey's testimony? Officially, the White House has said that he is simply too busy to tune in, but we do understand from some sources that the president has had time blocked off on his schedule. Reporting from the Capitol, Lana Zach, ABC News.
So James Comey is set to testify beginning at 9 a.m. Political pundits have speculated the hearing could last hours. KVUE's Corey Coffin joins us now live in studio this morning to break it all down. Corey?
Well, good morning to you, Brian. This is one of the most highly anticipated testimonies of our time. Remember, the president did have the option of using his executive privilege to bar Comey from testifying over their conversations, but he didn't take it. Comey is making several claims. First, he notes 9 one-on-one conversations with the president during his time in office so far. This compared to only 2 with President Obama during his 8 years in office. Second, Trump's request for loyalty from Comey. And third, Comey's sharing of his conversations with the president to follow FBI officials, fellow FBI officials, rather. And another issue, Trump's plea to Comey to, quote, let this go in regard to an investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. But does that amount to obstruction of justice? We asked UT Law professor H.W. Perry, Jr.
That's where I go back to this intent. What was the intent? To prove that it's a crime becomes very important, and proving intent is always really hard.
Like the interpretation of obstruction of justice, the subject of impeachment can be murky.
What's impeachable and what can make someone be convicted is in the eyes of the beholder, which is in the hands of Congress.
So certainly a tense situation to follow today as the nation waits, anticipating what could come from these hearings. But some already making light of it as much as possible. There are watch parties being held around the nation. Brian Yvonne, we do know watch parties in Texas, into Houston and Dallas, none in Austin that we've heard so far. We also found out that people are kind of doing drinking games with this. Some cocktails being
I wonder what the word
proposed.
has to be, though.
Well, there are different words. Tweets from Trump. That's also going to get you. One bar in D.C. is doing a full round of drinks for tweets. Drop the bomb, the last word, and the Kofifi cocktail.
I heard that last one's good.
The Kofifi cocktail?
I heard it's...
You've tried it a few times.
I'm just kidding.
I heard one,
Interesting.
I heard one expert yesterday say this is, in the grand scheme of things, bigger, the scandal and all that goes on around it, than Watergate. Which, when you put it in perspective, this is someone that lived during the Watergate times and was in office. So it's a big day.
It's interesting because the era of social media makes everything so much more available now. So there's so much more information.
How many times do we have to say, oh, the president's tweeting and we're checking, right away? It's such a different time.
It is.
It really is. It's going to be interesting to watch today.
It really is.
No doubt. Now, we've got you covered right here on KVUE. If you'd like to watch, it will be aired live at 9 a.m. We talked about that. We're going to show it in its entirety today with ABC News. But if you're at work and can't watch our feed on television, just check us out at KVUE.com. Also, our Facebook page will have a Facebook Live as well. So many different ways to watch, as Corey was just talking about. And, of course, full recap on the news at 5.
And earlier this week, Governor Greg Abbott announced he will call lawmakers back for a special session in July. The news came as no surprise to many. But how exactly will a special session work? The major difference is lawmakers will have just 30 days to pass bills instead of 140. The legislative process is the same, but lawmakers can only pass bills on the 20 items the governor listed in the special session call. While it may not sound like a big undertaking, political experts say it is quite ambitious.
20 issues is a lot, even if the legislature is in a really good mood and everybody's getting along and everybody's running in the same direction at the same pace. 20 is a lot to do in 30 days. I think some of these issues are not going to see the light of day.
Governor Abbott says since he had to call lawmakers back at the taxpayers' expense, he wants to make the special session count. Lawmakers each get a per diem of $190 a day, with 182 lawmakers for 30 days. That's more than $1 million, not including overhead costs like printing and utilities. The special session starts July 18th.
All new this morning, a local woman suing a restaurant after she says her queso left her with severe burns. The 27-year-old woman says she ordered the appetizer, quesos flemados, at Dos Salsas Mexican restaurant in Cedar Park. You can see here the restaurant still has the item on the online menu. At least I hope we can see that. Take my word for it. It's on the online menu. The dish is usually on fire, and the waiter sprays a chemical on it that makes the flames go straight up. However, the woman suing says that didn't happen in this case. She claims a waitress brought it out and sprayed the chemical, but instead of going up, the fire went sideways, burning her. So it wasn't actually the cheese that burned her, it was the flame. She's asking for $1 million.
Whoa, with the amount of hairspray I wear, I just
I'm in danger constantly.
Yeah, don't get near an open flame. Well, after spending 15 months overseas, an Austin Army serviceman has come home to find an unbelievable toll bill. Check this out. The breakdown is $1,400 for the tolls and $26,000 in added fees. Thomas Peterson says his family racked up the tolls while he was gone, and the bills just went through the cracks. Peterson says he understands he has to pay late fees, but he wants them to be reasonable. When he contacted TxDOT to explain, they told him the bill had been handed over to a collection agency. Now he can't get an answer from either agency over how to cut down on those late fees.
But $26,000 is insane, and that's extortion, that's highway robbery. I can't believe that any agency can get away with this.
Well, TxDOT representative tells KVUE that they're looking into this, and they hope to have a solution later today.
All right, keep your eyes open out on the roads. The Republic of Texas, our RHT Rally, begins today. The RHT Rally starts at 8 a.m. at the Travis County Expo Center. Thousands of bikers in town for the event, just like in years past. The rally's been held at the in Austin at the Travis County Expo Center for over 2 decades now. So just keep that in mind. Share the road. A lot of motorcycle riders out there beginning today. Might be a good weekend for it. I guess it's going to be a bit warm today, but good weekend to ride the motorcycle, Eric?
Yeah, a bit warm and a little bit on the stickier side, but still quite comfortable out there. I think you can definitely enjoy those outdoor conditions. Here's a look at what we're seeing this morning as you're stepping out the door. Temperatures right now in the 70s and also some upper 60s across the eastern counties. What you're really going to feel in terms of your forecast changing is the humidity today. We're closer to 70 degrees in terms of our dew point. So here's a look at your pool forecast if you possibly want to cool down this afternoon. A small 10% chance of a spotty shower, but again, the majority of you guys will be in the clear. Highs still in the 90s. Just make sure to stay cool and hydrated because UV index is very high at 10 today. Back to you.
All right, Erica, thank you. Okay, bottoms up. You know, Texans love their beer. That's according to the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. They say Texans drank over $8 million worth of beer just in May alone. That's over 42 million gallons. We also drank over 6 million gallons of ale, 4 million gallons of wine, and over 3 million gallons of distilled spirits.
Okay.
Oh, wow. How do they calculate that? I would love to know how that is calculated. That's a lot. All right, if you're someone who constantly drops your iPhone, listen up.
How Apple is making it easier to fix your cracked phone screen.